Hey there guys, what is going on? We're actually going to be doing something a little bit different today. Because Cold War is coming to its end on November 5th and we are going to be transitioning into Call of Duty Vanguard when that does drop, so just remember that. We are going to be taking a look at my top 5 favorite class setups this year in all of Cold War. We've had numerous weapons come and go, balance changes and everything has made my top 5 weapons actually quite difficult to pick. There's been a lot of cool stuff that has been in the game, like just things that were very, very good for a certain period of time, maybe things that were too strong for too long. But this is going to be my top 5 best class setups for all of Cold War. These are some absolutely fantastic weapons in this game. Just while we do get into it here though, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on. I do very much appreciate it and it really does help me out. While you are there taking a look at the subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button as well because that really does help get these videos to more eyes as well as help cut through the YouTube algorithm. So let's take a look at my top 5 best class setups all year in Cold War. So as usual with a list like this, there is going to be no particular order here, but we are going to start off with something very, very cool. We got the LC-10. Now, for a extended period of time, this was basically just the best gun in the game. It did feature a slightly slower than 300 millisecond TTK value, but at range, it was basically just easily the best SMG. It was almost an assault rifle SMG hybrid, ridiculously easy to control recoil. This thing was an absolute laser beam, and I think this was around season 3, I think it was. Season 3 and then to about season 4.5, I think off the top of my head. This thing was basically just the best SMG in the game. You couldn't miss shots with this thing. It was ridiculously easy and fantastic at range. Now, this thing did get nerfs, and it's not too bad anymore. It's still okay, but it's definitely not one of the best SMGs going around anymore. It's fallen off a touch. But when this thing was absolutely dominant, one of the best guns in the game, this was one of my favorite weapons to use. I always put this at the tip top of my meta class tier list because, I mean, this was just so easy to use, one of the best guns going around. Now, class setup for this thing does look like this. Starting us off here, we do actually have that infantry compensator. We do get 12% increase to our vertical recoil control with this thing, which allows us to hit shots very, very easily here. But you can take a SOCOM eliminator or even a sound suppressor if you do prefer that. Then in the barrel slot, we always want to go with the Task Force barrel here. This does increase our damage slightly, as well as giving us the most amount of range and most amount of bullet velocity here. An increase of 75% to our bullet velocity is really, really massive for our hit detection. Then we move to our underbarrel. This is the foregrip here, basically keeping us on target. Very, very easy to hit shots with just a 15% increase to our horizontal recoil control. Then we do take this, of course, to the Serpent Wrap here for 25% increase to our aim down sight speed. It's a nice boost to help get those sights up nice and quickly. And then we do round this off with the Raider stock here for an increase of sprint to fire speed of 30%, and 10% aim walking movement speed really does allow us to move around the map quite quickly when we are aim down sight. Now, as I said, this thing is not as good as it used to be, and that is a little bit sad, but it was absolutely the best SMG in the game. From about Season 3 to about Season 4.5, almost Season 5, this was easily the best SMG in the game. Super fun to use, ridiculously easy to control recoil, and still not a bad weapon if you are looking to end off Cold War with a bang. Moving on here to something that has become one of my absolute favorite weapons in the game. That is the PPSH-41, the Pappy Shah, as I affectionately refer to it as. But basically, in one of the most recent patches, this actually did receive a very significant buff to its Task Force barrel. This allows us to get a 5-shot kill with this thing at the 900-ish rounds per minute fire rate with this thing. Gives us a 264-ish millisecond time to kill, which is actually very, very fast for the SMG category. That old school style of weapon that is actually very, very powerful. One of my favorite weapons for sure. So taking a look at the attachments, we do start off with that KGB suppressor here for a 100% increase to our muzzle flash concealment, meaning we do not appear on the radar when we are firing, as well as 7% increase to our vertical recoil control is a pretty large increase to help keep us on target here. Then the barrel, as I said, we did get that buff to the Task Force barrel, giving us that 30 damage per bullet, 5-shot kill out to about 19 meters or so. 909 rounds per minute is about 260, 270 milliseconds worth of time to kill value, which is absolutely ridiculously fast for this game at the moment. Then we do have the underbarrel here, but because this thing is a little bit bouncy with the Task Force barrel, we do need the most amount of recoil control possible, and that comes from the Spetsnaz grip. 8% vertical and 22% horizontal really help keeps us on target here. Then we do have the 55 round drum. I really do appreciate this weapon for a massive magazine ammo capacity here. 55 rounds in the magazine is almost like a mini LMG here, so this is a fantastic attachment as well. And then we round this off with the Serpent Wrap here for 25% increase to our aim down sight speed. We don't really need the GRU Elastic Wrap here as we are not reducing our aim down sight speed with our magazine attachment, which I feel like is pretty significant here. But again, this thing is still relevant as part of the meta. It's one of the best SMGs, one of the best guns going around, and definitely one of my favorite class setups from this year's Call of Duty meta. You pretty much knew this was going to be on the list at some point. The EM2, I mean, this thing was absolutely dominant here. Season 5 was a real problem for this game. They brought out the Tech 9 and the EM2 and they were absolutely dominant weapons in this game. Basically, you could get a 3-shot kill with this thing to a body, and that is just ridiculously powerful. But basically, this thing was just easily one of the best guns in the game. 3-shot kill at most distances on most maps was just too strong. No recoil in this thing either when it did first come out, but they brought it back into line a little bit. Now you do have to get 2 headshots and a body shot to get that 3-shot kill, which is way closer to being balanced, man. That is actually a good decision that they've made with the balancing decision here. Our attachments on this thing are very, very cool, man. Like, you can pretty much pick and choose whatever you do prefer on this. This is what we do rock at the moment here, though. We got that suppressor here for that muzzle flash concealment, of course. Staying off the radar when we are firing this thing is a big deal for going on those longer streaks. Then we do take this to that task force barrel. As I said, if you are getting 2 headshots and a body shot here, you get a 3-shot kill with a ridiculously fast TTK value. But that's a little tricky sometimes, so your regular TTK, if you're just getting a bunch of body shots, is about 320, 330 milliseconds, which is actually quite well balanced for this game. Then the underbarrel, we do actually have the SFOD speed grip here because we do have a little bit of extra recoil from this thing. You can actually take the field agent grip as well if you just need a little bit more help with that kick. Then we do have the Stanag 40 round mag here for just more bullets to fire with this thing. This does reduce our aim down sight speed, however, which is not ideal, so we do end up taking that airborne elastic wrap to give us the most amount of aim down sight speed, lens resistance, and of course aim while going prone here. So again, the EM2 is definitely worse than it used to be, but you can still get that 3-shot kill. You get 2 headshots and a body shot, and you absolutely delete people from this game. It's a little bit trickier than it used to be. Having to only get 3 body shots just made this one of the most broken guns the game has ever seen. Ridiculously powerful as it used to be, but it's actually okay now. Not meta breaking or anything like that anymore, which is actually very, very cool. Next, we are talking about the other gun that they did add in Cold War Season 5, the Tech 9. Now, again, this thing did have a 3-shot kill, man, and that absolutely made this easily the best gun in the game. Basically, you can get a 3-shot kill with this thing out to about 20 meters or so, which at a decent clip on the TTK was just easily the best gun in the game. I think it was like 220 milliseconds if you were getting a 3-shot kill, which, I mean, yeah, that's a bit fast for this game when, like, the base, like, decent TTK values in this game are about 300 milliseconds. You get under that by 80 milliseconds and you're absolutely dominant here. Again, this is one of the reasons why lots of people stopped playing in Season 5, man. The Tech 9 and the EM2 were just, like, easily the most broken guns in the game. You couldn't really use anything else because you were just worse at the game. Like, you were just less efficient at killing people. Anyway, we do have the muzzle here with that fully auto repeater. This does make this a very, very dominant here again. That fully auto rate of fire as well as a 45% increase to our fire rate is absolutely massive for helping get more kills here. Special shout out to, of course, to the burst repeater. When this thing did launch, it was also a ridiculously powerful option at getting those 1 burst kills, man. You could 1 burst somebody from about 15 meters away and it was ridiculously fast TTK value as well. So special shout out to the burst fire repeater. Moving on here, we do have that task force barrel. As I said, this does increase our damage, our range, and our bullet velocity here. This did allow us to get that 3-shot kill back in the day. I mean, it just made it so easy to just mow people down. You were just less efficient at killing people if you weren't using an EM2 or a Tech 9 back in the day. Then we do have the underbarrel here, and this is the field agent grip for just a decent amount of recoil control here. 6% vertical and 22% horizontal is actually massive for keeping us on target here, because with the task force barrel, this does make it a little bouncy here, so this reins that in. Then we do have the 39 round mag here, just giving us the most amount of bullets to fire with this thing, and not an ideal reload speed, but I mean, it is what it is here. We've got more bullets here, and we do lose some aim down sight speed as a result. So we end up taking that airborne elastic wrap again for that 30% increase to our aim down sight speed for the most amount of aim down sight speed to counter that negative that we do get from our magazine attachment. Then to round this off, we have my absolute favorite weapon in the game, I think. I mean, this is just such a reliable weapon, and it has been basically since the game did come out. You get a 300 millisecond time to kill value out to 70 meters. Like, this isn't the fastest killing weapon that we've ever seen, but it's one of the most reliable, no doubt. We do, of course, have a lovely build here that does feature that tail. I just love this. It's like, why does this blueprint have a tail? Like, what? They were like, yep, let's put a tail on the AK-47. Anyway, this is just a reliable weapon to use, one of my absolute favorites from the game this year, and of course we do start off with that suppressor here. Again, staying alive for longer, going on those longer streaks is a big deal for me because I just love staying alive in these games. Getting more kills, always fun, and the muzzle flash concealment, meaning we don't appear on the radar when we are firing, is really, really good for that. Then we do have the barrel here for the VDV reinforced barrel. This does increase our effective damage range by 100% and bullet velocity by 40%. As I said, that does give us that 71 meters of damage range and 926 meters per second of bullet velocity. Is great for hit detection, great for hitting targets at those longer distances, getting that 300 millisecond time to kill. Then we do have just a straight up foregrip here for 15% increase to our horizontal recoil control. Just helping us keep on target here is very, very important for this thing. The recoil on this thing is not severe as it is, so this is just a nice little boost. Then we do have the handle again, Serpent Wrap increase of 25% to our aim down sight speed. We aren't running a magazine attachment here, but you can, and if you do, I recommend running the Guru Elastic Wrap here. And then we do have the KGB Skeletal Stock, which gives us that lovely tail here. The catnip, I mean, the KGB Skeletal Stock with the catnip makes it look like a tail, and I think that's super dumb, but I love it anyway. That does give us sprint to fire speed and aim walking movement speed here. So as I said, this is probably the most reliable weapon in the game. It doesn't really excel at doing anything apart from fighting at medium to longer distances. 300 millisecond TTK out to 70 meters is really, really cool. This is basically just the middle of the road weapon, basically usable by pretty much everyone, easy to control recoil, good TTK value, just a really, really great weapon to use in this year's Call of Duty. So that is my top 5 favorite class setups this year, man. I mean, most of these could have been used at various times throughout the year. They are still good right now. You can run around with the LC-10 and still be fine. You can run around with the Tech-9 and the EM-2 and still dominate games. I mean, if you get those 3-shot kills with these weapons still, you are absolutely removing people from the game, which is a lot of fun. Definitely the Tech-9 still one of the best guns in the game. I mean, the PPS-H41 is my absolute favorite weapon, I think, going around. And then the AK-47, just a very reliable option that you can always fall back on if you're not feeling good about your Call of Duty game. So again, thank you very much for watching this one. If you did enjoy this, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on, because we are going to be taking this channel into Vanguard when that does drop on November 5th, next Friday. So keep an eye out for that, of course. Make sure you don't miss out on any of the content there. It's going to be a big year for Call of Duty. So again, thank you very much for watching this one, as I said, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!